Hello, welcome to this new training video about our new update, Emotion V25 Pro, which will already come pre-installed on your tablet as an application. Let's enter. We will need to tap once. We will enter the username and password, in this case admin and admin, or the ones you have created, and then press the button to log in. Once inside the main menu, we can see control panel, clients, programs, bioimpedance, tutorials, and settings. Little by little, we will explain each of the functions. The first time, we will go to settings to activate our license. First, make sure that the internet connection, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth are active, which is important for validating the license. And we will fill in both the license number with numbers, letters, uppercase letters, and hyphens, as well as the name, address, city, province, country, phone number, and email. It is important to fill in all the information in the correct format. And once finished, we will press the validate license button. Then, if we have an internet connection and the information is correct, we will see the green message indicating the license has been validated. Important, I repeat, you need an internet connection. Therefore, on the right side here, we will see our devices, our MCIs, linked to this license up to a maximum of 7. We will go back again to the main menu to start the check and view the control panel. We will press the button. As before, up here we will see the MCIs, the devices we have linked with the serial number and battery status. In this case, down here, a full battery, and this example of an MCI without a battery. Next, by clicking the arrow, we will display the client options and can select a client that has already been created, or using the button at the top right, create a new client. Let's do an example of registering a new client. In this case, we will enter the name, demo, gender, date of birth, phone number. It may not be that important, but height and weight will definitely be crucial for our calculation of kilocalories consumed and KCAL. And, well, an email address, right? Once the data has been entered, a message will appear saying the client has been added successfully, and we can continue personalizing this client with packages or manage the sessions purchased by the client using the Add Packages button. An example of 10 packages purchased and their subsequent monitoring and management as those packages are used up. And active groups, this feature allows us to have a client by default work all their muscle groups during their training sessions, or to always exclude a specific muscle group for this client if they have some kind of pathology or injury, and it is contraindicated for them to train that area. From here, we can select if there is any area we do not want to work on. Normally, and by default, as I mentioned, all muscles, the entire body will always appear as a. Once everything is completed, we will press the OK button, and then we can exit to select from our list the client we are going to work with. In this case, this example, Once the client is created, the number of available session packages for this client will appear down here. Next, we can select the type of equipment, whether it's the full body bio jacket or a bio shape, which includes the pants, arms, calves, glutes, legs, and abdomen. In this case, the full bio jacket, and then importantly, the program, all right, type of program or training mode: individual, recovery, automatic, or free, similar to what we've always had. And by clicking on the image, you can select the program. For this first time, I will choose calibration to start by performing the calibration. Here we will have 3 buttons. One to save the calibration, one to retrieve a previously saved calibration for a client, and one to repeat a session that a client has already done, allowing us to replicate it exactly the same. Calibration program, I can start the session because I already have my client and my training mode set. We press play. From the general or master control, I can increase or decrease the intensity as I like. And if not, I can also adjust the intensity muscle group by muscle group individually. Up to, well, the client's needs, or when their feedback is positive, indicating that they feel comfortable there. In this case, I could pause button to save my calibration. This calibration, we want to save the values. Yes, save. OK message. And in the next session, when I press this button, it will retrieve these values that I just saved now. I can now continue my training, in which I will select a program, for example, abs, to start the program again. Total session time, normally and always by default, is 25 minutes. You can increase or decrease the time using the arrows and control the desired time at any moment. Just like the intensities, the contraction and rest times, which you already know are preset according to the type of program we use, can also be modified as desired by the trainer. Contraction time, pause time, and the ramp or stimulation time. Contraction time, the green bar. The red bar, pause time, which we can also turn into a pause or an active dynamic recovery, where the suit continues to emit impulses and, well, it becomes a more active recovery. A slight impulse to promote metabolic processes. Once you have selected the intensities or increase them from the master, by double pressing the button of the muscle group, you can lock that intensity to control the rest. But this one will remain at that intensity. Or by pressing for 2 seconds, you can remove or deactivate any muscle group. By pressing for 2 seconds again, you can reactivate it and restore the intensities it previously had. Increasing the intensities, as always, is a percentage that goes from 0 to 100, and the color of the muscle group's intensity will change from green to yellow to red, which simply indicates that the intensity in that muscle group is high, but it doesn't mean anything else. Average is the mean intensity we have across all muscle groups. For example, since I currently have 47 on my back and 4 on my arms. It gives me an average of 15%, taking into account the rest of the intensity averages throughout the body. Also, in the drop-down menu on the right, it will show me my client and the kilocalories kcal that are being consumed at that moment. All right. This number will be generated based on the type of program, the intensities, and the data we have already recorded for the client, such as height, weight, date of birth, and so on. And it will calculate our kcal for us. Afterwards, we can activate the virtual trainer version, which is the training video in which the woman will perform a sample workout so that we can follow along while we do our own electrostimulation training. You can make the menu or control panel appear or disappear to see it better, or you can pause it and both the video and the suit will pause, or you can remove the video again and resume your training. Once paused, we also have the option to enlarge the screen and be able to see, right? In a simpler and more detailed way, the intensities, the muscle groups we are working on, and so that our tablet focuses solely on the training, the intensities, and the workouts, right? In a more straightforward way, we can control the training, or again, make it smaller to see all the features available to us. Now, next to this button, the reset button, it will simply restore all the initial values, remove the client, and we can start another session with a different client and so on. Next is the lightning bolt button. This lightning bolt simply checks the status of our electrodes as long as it is green. By default, it will appear in blue, and only following instructions from technical support or training assistance will we recommend that clients test the functionality of this button or not. Next, further up is the Define Group button. We can create training groups when we have more than one device, more than one MCI. In this case, since I have several, I will reset my training. We can press the Define Groups button, where we will select either Group A or Group B and choose the MCIs or clients we want to join together to work collaboratively. In this case, Group A, my two devices will appear as Group A. We can control them either in group mode or individual mode. Individual. To select whether it's the program to train or the intensities for each client individually, for each one as needed. Group mode. At this point, we will now reset and restore the values. Once we have reviewed the control panel, we will exit the menu to the main menu, where we can see the following options for clients. Client list, where you can see the characteristics and parameters of each client, such as activity, packages, bioimpedance, and active groups, which we have already explained previously. Or again, here you also have the option to create new clients just as before by filling in the information packages and active groups. The next option within the main menu is programs, individual, automatic, recovery, or the option to create our own programs. Within individual programs, we can see the list of each one with the name, the frequency in hertz, the pulse in microseconds, the ramp, contraction time in seconds, and post time, also in seconds. We exit by pressing the X, and it's the same with the automatic programs. There's a list of automatics. These 10 automatic programs, where by pressing once, we can see what each one consists of and its objective: toning, increasing endurance, and delaying fatigue. Type of program duration and the adjustment for increasing or decreasing intensity. By pressing the button, we go back to see another example, such as Slim. All of these automatic programs have a duration of 25 minutes. Recovery consists of individual programs specifically designed for recovery periods or injury rehabilitation. Specific programs such as mechanical pain, chemical pain, neuralgic pain, relaxation, contractures, drainage, capillary, and metabolic, each with their own frequencies, pulses, ramps, contractions, and post times in seconds. And the last option is to create programs. Within create programs, we can also choose to create an individual automatic or recovery program. Individual and recovery programs are created in the same way. Within individual, we will select the name of the program, for example, the frequency, the pulse width, also the ramp, the contraction time in seconds, and the pause. Here we will have an example, and we will also select the type of equipment. This could be a program where by clicking here, we can create this program right away. Or if we want a specific pulse width or chronaxy for each muscle group, we should leave this field empty and go to chronaxy. It's going to ask me to confirm creating this program, and then go to chronaxy. And once inside chronaxy, I can adjust the intensities we want in microseconds for each muscle group. In this case, an example of different pulse width for each of the muscle groups. This is simply an example where we can also click to create it, just like the active groups in this program. We can say that in this specific program, we don't want to work glutes and hamstrings and create this program, right? We can check the program has been created. Within the program creation section, there's also the option for automatic programs. For automatic programs, we will set up a sequence of automatic routines with a name, as well as the equipment, and we will create the sequence program by program. For example, we'll say that the first program will be glutes, which will last 10 minutes and have an adjustment of 0. Adjustment means that the intensity will increase or decrease. We don't want the intensity to increase or decrease, but rather to stay at the level we previously selected on our control panel. Second sequence, contractures, the order, the time, and here we will specify that the intensity should increase by 5 points. Here we will have an automatic program registered and created with a total duration of 20 minutes, to which we can add a brief description, newly created auto, and the automatic program will have been created successfully. Having reviewed all the program options, we will continue. Next option, bioimpedance. For this option, it is important to have our iBody Pro device connected and linked to our license. Once we have done this, from here we can take measurements with our bioimpedance device, where we will select the desired client and then proceed to take the measurement following the instruction video. And once the device sends the information signal, we will proceed to read the measurement so that later, within the client's profile, we can assess the improvement in terms of this client's bioimpedance. After bioimpedance, the next option is tutorials, where we can check all the tutorials available to help you. Next option, settings. License, which we have already seen earlier. Center management, users, or creating new users. Users, we can view the list of users, administrators, and the people who manage the software, in this case, administrator. We can grant controls, session permissions, time permissions, enter all their data, change their name, user number and password from here, or also manage vouchers for this trainer and monitor their activity with the clients they have trained on, what date, when they started, and the vouchers they have used. In administrators, or likewise create a new one where we will enter a name, a username, fill in the details, set session control permissions, decide whether we want to limit their number of sessions or not, and whether we want to control the time or not. And for these created users, the default password will always be 0000. Once we enter our username and this password, the system will require us to create a new personal password. Backup, to create a backup of our software, of our tablet, and be able to download it onto another device or update and restore all our session data, clients, and save calibrations. Language, where we can choose from the different available languages, and the technical support option, where it will provide us with the contact information to get in touch with technical support. Finally, as a new feature, we have the option of our virtual assistant integrated with artificial intelligence in this button down here on the bottom right. If we press it, we can generate a PDF, a training session, or recommendations for our clients in a very visual, intuitive, and simple way, making it easy for any trainer to create some content for their client. In this case, we will select which client we want to perform this type of questionnaire for, in which our artificial intelligence will start asking us questions. And based on the data it gathers, it will generate a type of training, and a recommendation. In this case, it will recognize the client, their age, weight, height, and is going to calculate my EMC. It will ask me about my goal, for example, toning. Whether I have experience or not will be an important factor. The level of physical activity, how many days a week I want to do my training with EMS, with emotion. And finally, with all this data, it will generate a PDF that we can download and show to our client to support our training and see how the results are taking effect. With this, we conclude this brief training on our new update in Motion V25 Pro. We hope you like it and that you can enjoy it. See you soon.